today we're with Mr. Clarence Wright of Clarence Wright Funeral Home in Irvington, New Jersey. And Mr. Wright, I wanted to ask you a question. We're at the New Jersey State Funeral Directors Convention. I want to ask you, how long you been in the funeral industry?
Since February the 2nd, February 11th, 1951.
1951.
That's 65 years.
Wow, 65 years. Licensed funeral director in the state of New Jersey. You licensed in New Jersey only, or New York?
New Jersey.
Just New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So now, when a family has lost a loved one, what is your, what do you recommend for them to do immediately when they found that their loved one has passed, whether it's in a hospital or in a home? What should they do immediately?
Well, really, the first thing they need to do is to get together with the rest of the members of the family, if it's possible, locally, to decide what they want to do, and the funeral director that they feel comfortable with.
Okay.
And call him and arrange for him to either make the removal or wait to have a conference with them to decide what they want to do.
Okay.
But not to rush in haste, because a lot of times it costs them in the end.
If they rush.
That's right.
To make a rush decision.
That's right.
Okay.
Because you need the members of the family to be together and not divided.
Okay.
So that's important to make sure you have a togetherness with them.
Yeah. So would that be one of the first suggestions? Get all the family members together.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
Even if it's just by phone call. Because everybody's all over the place. It's not like when I came along, everybody was in the same community.
Yeah.
So it was no problem. But now they're scattered all over.
Yeah.
But you can say that the consensus is that we call Mr. So-and-so or so-and-so funeral home, or that funeral home. Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
And that's what you really want, to have a consensus. Not to wait until after the removal has been made, the funeral director has been called, and the process has been taken on, and then
try to make a change.
And make a change.
Yeah.
Well, we want to go to so-and-so and so-and-so. Well, it's going to cost you money.
Yeah.
Because you're going to pay for the funeral director that made the removal, and then you're going to pay for the other funeral home
to transfer the remains and all this stuff.
So it gets costly.
Okay. So now that brings up a good question. So let's say, a lot of families, after a while, the children may move out of town, and then their parents may pass away back where they grew up. But let's say they're not familiar with any funeral homes in the area. How do they, what are the suggestions to make arrangements sometimes from long distance?
Well, first of all, if you have that kind of a situation, it's really up to the young folk, the children, to get together and do pre-arranging.
Okay.
Start talking about this thing, not wait till mama and daddy pass to get your heads together.
Yeah.
Get your heads together early on. You know it's going to happen. Well, if I make arrangements, they're going to die. Well, if you live long enough, you're going to die anyhow. So you might as well
make the arrangements.
Get together and talk about what didn't happen, what you want to do. Because down the road, if you don't have a will or anything else, you're going to have a little squabble in the family.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is to try to get pre-arrangements ahead of time.
Yeah.
And have some discussion about it, because you know it's there. Well, let's wait costs you money. Because you're going to make mistakes because you waited.
Yeah. So it's good to get your affairs in order beforehand, as you said before, about doing a pre-arrangement and also setting up a will, because many times the parent, they have some wishes that they want to pass on. They might have a particular funeral home that they want to go to handle their final services, right?
That's right. The only problem with a will is sometimes that will is not read until after, because there might be time limits on it.
Okay.
So the children need to know ahead of time.
Okay.
What's mama or daddy's wish.
Gotcha.
And have an idea. And you talk it around with each other.
Yeah.
But do that. Talk it over. So when that time comes and you know it's coming, the doctor told you the time is running out.
Yeah.
So believe what the doctor's saying. And if you do that, it'll save you a whole lot.
Yeah.
And it'll keep your family together. Because at least you start working on the right thing. We want to do what mama wants.
Yeah.
And then if mama has it within herself, she can jot things down on a piece of paper. And there's somebody in there. Mama knows her children. and Mama say she want Mary, Sally, or Sue to take care of things. That's one thing. When I came along, it was always the oldest head, the oldest child in the family. Usually was the one that took charge.
Yeah.
That don't work.
Not
See, that don't work anymore. See, so that's important. And if you do it that way, you'll have a beautiful service.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be happy, and you'll still have a family that's together.
Yeah. So I think that's excellent advice to really get the affairs in order beforehand.
Right.
Come together.
Don't wait until the last minute.
Yeah, because you know what's going to happen. So just have all the information that you need to have ahead of time. It'll save you in the long run. Right?
My children know I'm 86 years old. They already know.
86?
Yeah.
You 56.
Well, I'm dangerous. But they know what I have in mind, what I want. So why wait until then to get that together?
Yeah.
Let's talk this thing over now. They know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just like when their mother passed, we didn't have any arguments.
Because you knew what was going to take place already.
Everybody knew what they was going to do.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're in the funeral business. No, it's not because we was in the funeral business. It's just because we understood.
You plan properly.
You know how this thing is going to work.
Yeah.
And if you do it that way, you're bound to come out successful. You keep the family together. That's the key to it.
Key thing, yeah, you're right, because you avoid the stress that goes with the family.
That's
during
right.
that. You already have the stress of losing a loved one.
That's right.
And now also you have, guessing where
That's
funeral
right.
services. So
That's right.
Yeah, so it actually does a great service for the remaining family members.
And it sets an example in the community about how well things went on.
Yeah.
Because the children were together, they worked together, everything was. So it benefits the community.
Yeah.
And it might help some other family
that see this whole process.
Go and say, well, we're going to do like the Wrights did, or the Woolridges done, or the Stevens done, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's excellent. That's excellent.
See, that's important.
All right, now let me ask you two more questions. So going off the subject a little bit, but what made you get started in the funeral industry altogether?
Well, let's look at it this way. I grew up in an Italian community, and I was always interested in the funeral business when I was 7, 8, 9 years old. When I hear these people talk about it when they're 35 years old, what was you doing back in them days? I always wanted to be.
Yeah.
Well, I always wanted to be.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I learned. I used to come out and watch over at St. Lucy's Church in the First Ward. I used to go to St. Michael's and watch the funerals, and I grew up that way. In my church, Mount Olive Baptist Church, I did the same thing. Mr. Woody was the funeral director of prominence at that time in our church. I used to watch how they came in and how they went out, what they did. So I was excited about it. When I went in the Army, at that time, blacks couldn't be part of the borough units that they had in there in the service. And I came out, and in 1947, when I was discharged, I was out looking for a job as an apprentice.
Okay.
And in 1951, February the 11th, 1951, Mr. Woody gave me the opportunity to be an apprentice.
Okay.
I started my apprenticeship out at $10 a week. That's 10, period, a week. 7 days a week. That's big money, but it was something. If you wanted something, you don't look at the money ahead of time, because right now I can write my own check.
That's good.
Because I accepted $10 a week.
At that time, yes.
You see? So these youngsters come out here now, and
they want to get big money right away.
They want my paycheck.
Just starting out.
Yeah, starting out, and don't know nothing. Don't know how to sign a certificate.
Yeah. You have to learn how to work your way up. It's a process. You don't jump to the head of the table from the beginning.
I told a couple of young ladies here this evening, what you need to do is volunteer.
Yeah.
Go to a funeral home and volunteer your time. I'd like to come and help you at the door and do this so you can get into it. Find out if that's really what you want.
Yeah. What makes someone's experience coming to Clarence Wright Funeral Home different than going to another funeral? What should they expect coming to your funeral home as opposed to going to any other funeral home?
Well, they're going to get the gospel truth, because there are so many things that our funeral profession did not own up to and explain to people as they went along down through the years.
Yeah.
And as I came along, I saw things that were going on that I didn't approve of. And so, burying extra deep. You know, why ask the family, do you want to bury extra deep? Extra deep means money.
Yeah.
So I talk about it. Do it. And then after you do it, I go back and get the son, the daughter, the husband, whatever, and bring it back to the grave and say, you know, you have room for another burial.
Right.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know it.
Yeah.
I said, I know you didn't know it. Because if I asked you ahead of time, you would have said no.
Yeah. But now you see the value of it. Yeah.
Yes, because all the cemeteries now are burying extra deep. See? And they're charging you extra deep, so you can bury a single death or extra deep. Well, I don't need that. Yes, you do. There's somebody in your family that's going to have a need for a grave, and everybody's out of money, but at least you have that grave.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's the benefit of it. And if we had done that years ago, we as a group would have been much further ahead.
Yeah.
The next thing that we need to do, either churches or organizations or things, is start buying plots in the cemetery. Because within the next 10 years, there's not going to be vacant graves.
Yeah.
So, or I'm not going to be cremated. Well, you keep living 10 years from now, and you don't have a grave, you can be cremated.
That's a good.
It's just that simple.
Yeah, yeah. So that's good. Yeah. So going to your funeral home, you get to give them the gospel truth. So your years of expertise, you share with them, because you know, I mean, in all instances, you know this better than the most families that will come in, so you can tell them or advise them at least of different options that they have.
I tell them right off the beginning, I'm going to tell it to you like it is. And if you listen to me, you'll be ahead of the game. If you want to do what you want to do, I'll go along with it. But I'm just trying to tell you, I'm trying to not spend your money, trying to help you to save your money, because you're doing things that don't need to be done.
Okay.
Only because you're going according to what people have been doing down through the years.
Down through the years, yeah.
It's time to get away from that and do what has to be done.
Yeah. Good.
And that's the way I've been doing it.
Okay.
So I just ask people, just have faith in me. Trust me. Because I'm going to tell it to you like it is.
That's
it.
That's excellent. Thank you.